Everybody stop right there. Before you go any further, where's your focus on Pluto? Understand, slow down. Let's look back at Pluto. Let's not get carried away. Pluto is at Aquarius between the 1st and 5th degree, which indicates balance. These are the degrees of balance. The 1st and 5th degree, well, 1st to the 5th degree includes 1st degree, an old adobe mission, an unexpected thunderstorm. 2. 3. A deserter from the Navy. 4. A Hindu healer. And 5. A council of ancestors. Now, without going into the details of all of these degrees, I want to focus on the fact that Pluto is first concentrating balance through her power as she travels through the 1st to the 5th degree of Aquarius. Now, why is it good to know that? So that we can form intentions to be in harmony with what's transforming, to be in harmony with the opportunity for empowerment that's before us. And it's not always clarified that that is what is taking place. It's not always obvious that that is what is taking place. So, by us focusing in and doing the research in a cosmic sense, we can be right and exact about how we're showing up. Right now, Pluto is concentrating on our balance. Between the 1st and 5th degree, it is about balance. One of the important things to consider about balance is innovation. You were doing things one way, you were going a particular course, and we found that somehow we ended up somewhere where we had to pump the brakes. We ended up somewhere questionable. And what I'm saying is, collectively, as a society, a nation, and individuals in our families, whatever the case may be, it's normal for us to find ourselves off course after a certain amount of time, outliving the theme. Outliving the theme. And so, we have to take into consideration, what have we been going through? What have we been experiencing? What's outdated? What no longer is making the mark? I want you to loosen your grip a little with thinking about your own personal world. Expand and look at the collective situation, because the macrocosm can help us to better understand the microcosm. When you try to focus so hard on your personal life, you're going to miss everything. Why? Because you have attachments to those symbols. You have attachment to certain ideals. You have attachment and emotional triggers to everything that runs through your mind about your personal life. So if you can release that and switch that focus to the collective theme, the collective stage, what is happening collectively? Okay? And then you look at that as a way to examine what's happening to you. By looking at what's happening in the world, you're able to take a non-personal approach to what you're witnessing. You're able to take an observation without being attached to the object that you're observing. And now the understanding can accelerate. We can't understand something that we're attached to. Okay? So this is why I consistently bring up global, political, social, collective topics. The macrocosm helps us to understand the micro. Okay? If we constantly look inside ourselves at personal issues, we will miss everything. Okay? Now, we've obviously run to the end of the road with many things, outlived certain practices culturally, in our behaviors, in the way that we show up and relate to each other. Certain policies and ideals on lifestyles, how we're supposed to show up in the public space, what is right, what is wrong, what is good or what is bad, what is fair or not. Our moral compass is something questionable today, like never before. Who or what is to determine what is good or what is bad? What defines harm to the people or not? These are relevant questions like never before today. Anyone who has a pulse knows in this modern time, so many things are questionable concerning our morals and our values, our ethics, the things that we believe in or not, where the security is, where the balance is, where's the structure, what do we hold to, what do we cling to, with things changing so fast in ways that we used to identify as perverse, taboo, impossible, or something that's just unacceptable. Okay? I don't need to go into those details because I just want us to focus on the fact that our world has come to a wall. Okay? As far as how we were living it out and what was the standard or criterion of judgment that we were using, the value system, we've run to the end of it. So Aquarius is the perfect host for such a crisis, where what you are creating and what you have been creating, it comes to the end of what it can continue to expand or not. There's no more expansion. I can't create any more from here because I have no more ideals that succeeds the ideals that I've been creating from. So, what comes after creation? Innovation. Okay? This is going from Mars energy to Uranus energy. Iron to zinc. From Ogun, god of war, to Shango, the king of thunder and lightning. Futuristic. Now, innovation comes after creation. You create something and it has lived out its purpose. It has lived out its time. It has accomplished all that it has a capacity to accomplish. But what is the case for something or someone that is subject to a time continuum, where we evolve through that time continuum? We are constantly growing and evolving. What is the case for that? Now, creation eventually runs out of its capacity to serve that which grows through the time continuum, or evolves, ascends. You have to innovate to keep up with that. Understand, you have to innovate. Many energies are called into play concerning zodiac signs or algorithms in order to accommodate a process of innovation. Included in that is finding acceptance for the reality at hand. We've come to a point where there's no more that we can do with this. This model, this structure, this order, this way of doing it, this way of being, the way that we're showing up, how we're dealing and relating with each other, how we have defined society, or rather we fail to define certain things in society in honor of what's most authentic to us. Innovation is calling us to innovate, of course, accepting the reality, as already mentioned. Transformations have to take place. This means letting go of what you know the clock has run out on. So now we have to examine where our attachments are. Coming to realize where we have attachments, the pains of attachments, cognitive dissonance, the fear, the insecurities that we have when we know it's time to let something go. It's time to let someone go. A lifestyle, a relationship, an association with, a way of living, a personality, environment, habits, behaviors, character, a mindset. There's always something to change when it comes to innovation, because we have to survive the limitations of time introduced through the many faces of death. This is where Scorpio comes in. Every lunar cycle, the moon comes to Scorpio to bring death to something that has to die. We regenerate, we transmute, we transform emotional loads so that we can continue on and see progress, regeneration. And you have your new beginnings, a sense of freedom emotionally at Sagittarius, the expansive fire of passion and zeal of life. But that's after a renewal of that emotional load through Scorpio. This is similar. That point right there of going from the moon, going from Scorpio to Sagittarius, it has a likeness to Aquarius. Mars, of course, rules Scorpio. It's no coincidence. The creator and the laws of physics, it's that which we are creating. Understand? This is the time where we want to know the difference between ourselves as creators and ourselves as innovators. Seeing ourselves as innovators, we have to know how to weigh and judge value. What is valuable? And we have to know how to weigh and judge value according to the timeline. Put it in the context of time. What used to be valuable yesterday may not be so valuable today. Even though you may have sentimental value of something, the functional value may not be there. Even though you reverence something in memory, it may be time to part ways with a thing in order to be functional, efficient, progressive, victorious in the current hour. These are combinations of a mature mindset, a forward-thinking mindset. Do we know how to judge value? Do we know how to judge value? South Node is at Virgo. Do we know how to judge value without throwing the whole baby out in the bathwater? That's what Virgo South Node does. That's what the shadow of Virgo does. It throws the whole thing out. But through the power of innovation, we don't have to do that. There are some things that can be salvaged. There are some things that should be salvaged. And there are things that we have to have the maturity, the power of the resilience to face disillusionment and knowing that it's time to let it go. It's time to bow out. New chapter, new page. And this does not speak of the immaturity of bailing out and committing mutiny to your responsibilities, to your duties, to accountability, to what you know demands your attention and concentration. No, I'm not giving tickets for that. Let's be mature. Considering innovation, these are the things that we want to search in ourselves. And again, I give you the advice to look at the macrocosm to really understand how these energies relate. Don't look at yourself to understand how energies relate. Look at the outer experience. Why? Because attachment obscures the view. It obscures the judgment. When you are attached to something, you cannot come to understand it. This is the power of retrograde. The power of retrograde. When you are standing in front of that person, when you were in the middle of that situation, when you were in that environment, when you were dealing with that project, you couldn't make a sound judgment. You couldn't make a clear decision because you're so attached to the experience. You're attached to the person or the thing. So the retrograde allows you time to detach from something so that you can give a clear judgment to that thing without being attached to it. We have more understanding of something in hindsight than we do in the present moment. And that's only because detachment has allowed that understanding to manifest. And that's Aquarius. Aquarius is to relate through a spirit of detachment, not abandonment, not isolation, not narcissism, arrogance, or rejection. Detachment. A clear mind, sound judgment, wisdom, understanding, and we're in a retrograde. There are things to examine, there are things to consider. Venus and Mercury themes, relationships, communications, resources, connections, and how we initiate these things based on Aries, and what there is to dissolve concerning these things based on Pisces. Listen to me carefully. Okay? Venus and Mercury will soon be entering Pisces, showing us what there is to dissolve concerning these matters. So when you take the combination of the two, where is the value in what I initiate or create concerning Venus themes, relationships and resources, things that I am attracted to, things that I enjoy, things that give me pleasure? Where is the value in my communications and connections? In the noise in the air, the information, the abundance of information and feedback. Where's the value at? Having discernment, discretion, finding the balance between the heart and the head as we consider. And when these retrograde planets get into Pisces, what value has lived out its course? Where has time run out on what I used to value? What do I no longer value? Relationships, resources, things, people. And what communication circumstances, Mercury, as well as Virgo themes, Gemini themes, where am I attempting madly to produce perfection somewhere that I'm no longer vested in what I'm attempting perfection in? That's Virgo, South Node. Where am I gnawing away trying to create and produce perfection time and time again, but it's time to let it go. It's time to move on. So we're weighing where the value is at so that we can determine and make an assessment on what do I include in this innovative process and what do I disclude? What do I put to the side? Okay, what is functional to the hour at hand where I stand? What is functional? What is useful? What keeps me productive in forward motion? Detachment has to drive us here. What were some of the things in hindsight that helped us to learn detachment so that we could have a sober mind in assessing these things in this particular hour? Okay? Remember what you were going through concerning Scorpio themes when Pallas Athena was direct, retrograde, direct, and Virgo? Okay? Thinking back to the winter. Themes of betrayal. Things of abandonment. Aries Chiron, senses of inadequacy, low self-esteem, confusion about the identity, I'm not good enough, so on and so forth. These are things that taught us how to arrive at healthy detachment, along with the Mars retrograde, which initiated during all of these processes. We had loads of generational curses, emotional imbalances, because we all came from a society of single motherhood. And it did damage to us. Not having fathers, it did damage to us. And they not having husbands, it did damage to them. And Cancer Mars was a cleanup, an address of some of those things, which came directly after South Node Libra, the turn-up female's world coming to an end. Okay? So this timeline, it's synchronized, it's harmonized, and it's right and exact. Right and exact where we're at. We learn detachment through disappointments, betrayal, rejection, isolation. We learn how to go within and create healthy detachment. And that brings you to the consciousness of Aquarius, to approach a situation with healthy detachment. That is part of the catalyst that forms a master. Not personalizing, not taking personal, not so fast to be offended, but always seeking understanding, using the all-seeing eye, exemplifying wisdom and understanding, the water bearer, keeping the focus on what matters, what is important, not getting distracted by the small details of noise. Noise. Simple noise. Where's the real value at? Is that worth my time giving a reaction to? Is that worth my time, me turning my eyeballs to look upon it or look upon that person or that situation? What is really worth my time? What is worth my focus? What is worth my feedback? What is worth it? What is worth me scheduling in my time? All things considered, we're finding the balance in essence. And who hosts this whole entire theater? Pluto and Aquarius. Finding the balance. It's transforming us. It's transforming us. The moment that Pluto got into Aquarius, this is where we start seeking out a contrast to the reality that we no longer felt connected to. Seeking a contrast. This can't be it. This can't be it. Seeking a contrast. So our balance is not going to be found in burying our head and pretending like we didn't see where we just came from. Like we don't know what happened. How many of you out there, and I want a reaction for this one. Every year, there's a rapper. His name is Uncle Murder. Okay, Uncle Murder. Yeah, you heard it right. Murder. Murda. Uncle Murder. Okay, I want you to look that up. Even if you got to pause this, look up Uncle Murder wrap up. Okay, every year, Uncle Murder does the wrap up. Okay, if you listening to me, type that in. Uncle Murder wrap up. Okay, Uncle Murder does a wrap up every year. He did a wrap up 2024. Okay, just like he did every year. And that's like the 29th degree, okay, of every sign. When a planet has an emphasis on that 29th degree, just like Neptune does right now. That's like when Uncle Murder does a wrap up at the end of the year, okay? And he summarizes everything that took place. That's what we need to do, okay? So that we have insight, so that we have clarity with the moon as we go forward, okay? Because the moon is what collects and culminates all of your experiences so that it can process as wisdom as it hits the water signs, okay? As the moon goes from water sign to water sign, the 3 water signs is producing wisdom out of every experience, okay? Understand. That's very important. So we have to look behind us to have wisdom in the foresight, okay? Looking behind us gives the wise insight, and that wise insight, it propels, it sustains, it supports. It's a ground, a foundation for wise foresight, okay? Insight, foresight. And we have to have both to be innovators. You see, you're looking at something that was built a certain way, and the circumstances and demands have now changed, okay? There are different demands, there are different expectations, there are different circumstances, there's different directions to go, there are different things to take into consideration. So you have to gut out what you created, and you have to remove what will not remain functional or accommodating to what you're trying to accomplish. And you have to salvage what still has value in that structure. And you have to add in what's still required or needed to complete the ideal. Okay, and look at these key words I'm using: ideal, which goes back to Neptune, obviously. So, without me getting lost in the whole balance thing, because I could just go on and on with this is what we want to look at and weigh out. And in a microcosm sense, you also want to apply the same theory to your personal life right now, okay? Knowing that right now, Pluto wants you to concentrate about balance. And you can't concentrate on balance if you're still struggling to acknowledge how you used to behave in the past, what you used to give permission to in the past, what you were enabling in the past, what you created and co-created in the past, what community was you a part of, what energy did you identify with. Don't try to paint yourself as a hero, and don't try to paint yourself as a saint. Be honest in who you know you used to be, okay? That's part of innovation. Because if you could be honest about who you know you used to be, you are more empowered to reconstruct or innovate yourself effectively because of that resilience and honesty, sincerity, the acceptance of the truth. So don't look back and lie to yourself. Don't look back and pretend. This is still part of atonement. It's still part of salvation because it's part of confession. You don't move forward without confession. You don't move forward without atonement, because that's also part of accountability. Where are you going without accountability? A fresh new start so you can go and be responsible in that and recreate the same karma all over again? Because the basis of release from the karma is you learning how to be accountable, having the strength and courage to be accountable. The maturity, the character, that's the whole point. You're not going to leave one reality dirty and dusty and then move on to another one because you brainwash yourself in the mirror saying, oh, I'm one of the good guys, I'm one of the good girls, I deserve to be over there. Just because your girlfriends or your homies told you what you deserve and you don't. You deserve exactly what you earned, what you created. The person who you chose to become, that determines what you deserve. Stop lying to yourself. Let's get honest. Let's really get honest here. We can't bring that mentality with us. You can't put new wine into an old vessel. You know what I mean? You can't be out here talking about, warming up the bathwater and warming up the shower, talking about getting ready to take a shower, but you got some dirty ass drawers laying, that you getting ready to put on. How that look? How your funky ass talking about you getting ready to take a shower and you get out the shower and you put the same dirty ass drawers back on? You a trifling ass nigga. Understand? You trifling. But your funky ass, you trifling. You a funky motherfucker doing something like that. You gonna get in the shower and put the same dirty ass drawers on? That's what you telling me? That's what we doing? A word? Let me find out you nasty. You know what I mean? Same thing. So the innovation, you can't exclude salvation. That's part of the package of accountability, responsibility. That's part of how we lead into self-transformation. That's salvation. Confess. Confess who you know you chose to be. Confess what you created and co-created into reality. The things that you like and the things that you dislike. What you don't want to continue creating, what you should not have created. All of that. You got to acknowledge that. All of us have to acknowledge these things. This is the part right here, okay, that I know sets me apart from other astrologists out there or astrologers out there, okay? I know this. This sets me apart, okay? This is what makes people, okay, they subscribe to the channel and then they go in the back and they hide out because they shook. Niggas is scared because the accountability part of this is what people are scared of. Don't get scared. Get scared of not taking accountability. I'm not up here, beating people up and abusing people. I'm loving you all. This is love. I'm loving you all the same way that I love myself. This is how I love myself. I hold myself accountable. And I'm still not perfect. I still don't have everything right. I'm a major fuck up. Understand? I might be worse than all of y'all. I am a wounded healer. Let's get that right. I might be healing, but I'm wounded too. The same, you know what I mean? Anything I'm saying to you, I'm saying to myself. So really it's therapy, me you know what I mean? Me getting up here talking, because I'm really talking to myself every day. Understand? But niggas is shook, acting like, oh, why you say that? Oh, that hurt. Why you say that? That's the problem. We're not subjecting ourselves to enough accountability. We want entertainment. We want fun all the time and entertainment. We want people with fancy hats on giving you all that good conscious talk. Oh, we was kings. If you black, you special. You came from this planet and Nibiru and all this other stuff because you black. You ain't got to do nothing. You black. That's some foolishness. That is some foolishness. Black, white, Chinese. I don't give a damn what your race is. What's your character? What's your spiritual condition? What's your mindset? What's your attitude? Come on. All this black superior bullshit. Show me superior then if that's what you believe, nigga. Show me, because I can't see it. I can't tell. Understand? I can't motherfucking tell. Look at your character. So we're not going nowhere without including all of this. This has to be included. Because that's how you lay out a fresh pair of drawers. Understand? Okay? You taking a shower, don't you want a fresh pair of drawers? Nigga? You know what I mean? You want a fresh pair of drawers. Yeah. So clean it up. Clean everything. Oh, you gonna wash your hands in the shower, but you ain't gonna wash your ass? Oh, all right. Yeah, one of those. So anyway, I can't emphasize enough, you know what I mean? We got to get over the fear of this message. Because I can't do it by myself. Y'all got to push this message out there. But how you going to do that if you sit here shook? You scared. You scared. How's going to do that? Oh, astrology was for feminists. Astrology was for rainbow people. And here my black ass is, more masculine than ever, teaching astrology. Yeah, and I got the right to be in this motherfucker, nigga. Fuck you mean? It started with men. Okay? Astrology started with men. Astrology used to be taken very serious. Understand? Unfortunately, feminists and rainbow people took up astrology, and some people out there have given astrology a bad reputation. People take astrology for a joke. When you mention astrology, people start sucking teeth, rolling eyes. They don't want to hear it. They don't want to be bothered with it because people are not teaching it in honesty out there. They're watering it down and they're making it sweet poetry. They're leaving out all of the fundamental points that causes growth and transformation. That causes healing. Nurturing feels good. Okay? They nurture. Don't get me wrong. And it makes sense for them to nurture because these are mostly females that talk astrology and rainbow dudes who teach astrology out there. So yeah, they come from a nurturing demeanor and we need that. But in balance, we also need growth and healing. Growth and healing is painful if you didn't know. So what I'm providing is part of growth and healing that you must have. Sterilization. Understand? That's what I offer. I offer sterilization, growth, and healing. And there's nobody who can say that what I teach does not live out to that effect. It's nobody that can say that. Nobody. That's what I know. 100%. I know for a fact that what I teach here, it offers those three things: sterilization, growth, and healing. And all three of those things are very painful, which is why y'all subscribe and then go hide your little scary ass in the back. That's why. I'm a straight black man and I'm teaching astrology. So, he ain't supposed to be here. No, nigga, I am supposed to be here. Understand? So anyway, Pluto is focusing on restoring balance. Balance can't be restored, okay, as long as we living out these past karmic themes. We have to live out a theme in contrast or as a polarizing solution, okay? We have to live out a polarized solution to what we just came from. What's the polarized solution to South Node Libra, okay? Because South Node Libra is the theme of the past that's closing, and so is Capricorn Pluto. What are the solutions for those? North Node Mars, okay? North Node Aries Mars, which we have accomplished, okay? We have accomplished that. Is downloaded. That's a solution. That's the balancing factor for the crisis of South Node Libra, which was feminism and liberalism. Females wilding and fucking up the world, okay? Yeah, I said it. These are the things that you'll need to learn how to get a taste for without crying. You got to sit up straight and deal with it so we together collectively can fix all of this. Understand? We can't do it if you crying all the time when you hear the truth. Solution for Capricorn Pluto. What was that? Cancer Mars retrograde was the solution. Okay? Because of what we did through Capricorn Pluto themes, which was got into Aramonic energy. Aramonic energy. Let me say it one more time. Aramonic energy. AHRAMANIC. If I spelled that right. Aramonic energy. We got into the Shadow 8. The Shadow 8 Capricorn Saturn energy. We got into the Shadow 8. I'm saying it over and over again because I want you guys to study the things that I say. Don't just sit there, picking your nose and licking the windows. I want you to study the things that I say. I beg. Come on. I don't got no fancy hat on my head. And entertainment. You know what I mean? And all these good looks up in the camera to keep you focused. But if you can listen, I promise you, you will transform your life. Because as I am wounded, I promise this is healing. Understand? That Capricorn Pluto energy, it had us to worship our jobs, worship our careers, worship money, materialism. Yeah, a little capitalism here and there. But corporations, in and of itself, it took us to the devil. Okay? The way that we were relating to corporations, we sold our souls, we sold our families, we sold our children's happiness, we sold the security of the children, we sold our marriages, we sold the most valuable commodities, the most valuable entities, the most valuable themes of life, of society. We sold it for a check. We sold it to produce and mass produce for Rothschild and Rockefeller's ideals. We bent the knee to uphold Rockefeller and Rothschild's ideals through Capricorn Pluto. And who did it hurt? It hurt the children. You was a child once. Your children's children, the children before you, every generation that got into that post-Vietnam corporate capitalistic model, okay? It destroyed the families. And it's not a coincidence that welfare, Lyndon B. Johnson's ideas, crack epidemic, feminism, and everything else accelerated at the time that corporations began pulling women away from her natural identity as the homemaker, the wife, the child rearer, the nurturer, the healer, the high priestess. Understand, the oracle, the defender of Ma'at's principles everywhere that she goes. That's a woman. And they made her into a mule, a useful idiot for politics and corporations. And because she was taken away from her husband through these social engineered strategies, she don't know better. She's lost. Listen, man, I take a lot of chances every day with telling you all the truth. And why? Because I know it's going to set us free if you can find the courage to listen. Come on, man. I'm not just spewing stuff out so I can leave y'all leaking with blood, crying and crawling on the floor with pain. I'm telling you these things because it's the truth. And I know if we could connect the dots together, yo, we can move some things. We can make something good happen. But it has to be founded on truth, reality, acceptance of reality. So we got to get brave. We got to get courageous. Come on, man. Help me out. You know what I mean? Help me out. I can't do it by myself. Put the pieces together. Listen, follow me. Come on. I'm 41. I watch how all these stages happen. Come on. Understand. My mother's from Chicago. I'm from New York. And in both places, crack files was all on the sidewalks in my childhood, nigga. Think I'm making shit up? I watched it. Yeah. First-hand experience. Even my mother was on that shit. First-hand experience. I grew up surrounded by the trap boys. First-hand experience. How the fuck you gonna tell me? I seen this shit. And I watched what feminism did. I watched it. Yeah. Come on, man. I don't do drugs. I can't even remember the last time I even had a shot of anything. Should have a shot tonight. I'm a sober, clear mind. Anyway, I'm crying tonight. You know what I mean? So, balance. Aquarius. 1st to 5th degree. Pluto's trying to get us balance. Now, because it's Pluto, there's things we have to transform in order to balance. Because it's Pluto, there's things we have to find resilience to get to acceptance if we're going to find balance. There's things we gotta accept. You looking behind you, oh, it's true, but you don't want it to be true. You better get over it. It's true. Now, what are you gonna do about it? Here's a prayer that goes with that. Y'all know this prayer. You know what I mean? Your grandmas taught you this prayer. Come on. Father God, grant us a serenity to accept the things that we cannot change. Grant us the courage to change the things that we can. And the wisdom to know the difference. Come on. One more time. I'm going to show you one more time. Father God, grant us the serenity to accept the things that we cannot change. Grant us the courage to change the things that we can. Grant us the wisdom to know the difference. Understand? Ashe, however you end it. Understand? That prayer right there, it goes wherever Pluto goes. Understand that. If you find yourself in an 8th house situation, a Scorpio situation, or a Pluto situation, that prayer, it covers all of it. Understand? Right? Yeah. Pluto is going to make sure that we face things that's critical to face if we're going to move forward and innovate. Now, in facing things, harsh realities, okay? Harsh realities. Finding acceptance for harsh realities, all right? This is part of the insight into determining what has value and what has lost its value, okay? What is serving you and what's not. What is part of efficiency and what is part of blockage, right? What is contaminated and what still has its sterile purity. What you can take with you, what you can. What lessons have you already learned and it's time to move on from? Right? Come on. So there's things to examine, and they're not easy things to look at and examine. But it doesn't mean we can't. Find the courage, find the resilience, face it so we can transform. Understand? It's going to get you to the balance, and that's going to get us to the innovation. Working with that innovation, you already know Neptune is what's bringing in new vision, new ideals. Neptune's at the 29th degree, which is indicating the ending, reconciling with ideals that are outdated, ideals that no longer make sense to the timeline that you now are in, now that the South Node Libra theme is collapsed, now that the Capricorn Pluto ideal is collapsed. It's time to get a new ideal, a new concept, a new vision to walk forward with, in accordance with, okay? That's part of the innovation too. Part of innovation is assessing what you do have, not crying over what you don't have. Count what you do have. Take note of what you do have and lead, make a start with what you do have. Give thanks for what you do have. Understand? We are innovators. Aquarius, we are wise. Aquarius, we are masters. Aquarius, we are water barrels. We are solution finders. We make things more efficient. We are servants. We're here to give and do that which serves the people. We are humanitarians. Understand? That's where we at, in case you felt lost. Now, Sabian symbol for Aquarius 4th degree. And let me clarify, first of all, Pluto is at 3 degrees, 3.9 degrees, all right? And I'm taking into consideration 3 to 4 degrees rather than 2 to 3 degrees, okay? Because energy ascends, it moves forward, it spreads, it expands, okay? So we have to read 4 degrees to get the context of what energy Pluto is going to be moving through between the 3rd and the 4th degree, which it is in now. It's at the beginning of the 3rd degree, headed toward the 4th degree. Therefore, we're considering Aquarius 4th degree, all right? Now, this Sabian symbol is a Hindu healer. A Hindu healer. And I read, Spiritual focus. Spiritual focus. Pleasures, rewards, and disciplines of civilization rob us of our most precious ability to tune into the spiritual realms, healing yourself of imbalances. Now, what does this speak of? Among many things, and among whatever your heart should suggest as well. As I mentioned, we're coming out of Capricorn Pluto. Okay? This was our lust for material. This was our obsession, Pluto, with material things, material gains. Big expensive cars, high fashion, big immaculate houses, marble floors, high-tech appliances. Abundance, abundance, abundance of things that you don't need, but you just simply want it. You desire. You want the status that comes with it. It helps you to feel like you're competing. Feeding insecurities, making them worse. Swiping away, going into debt. Bank loan after bank loan after bank loan to keep up with this sickness, this hormonic sickness, this sick relationship with material things, materialism, consumption, consumerism. We're coming out of that. We're coming out of that, and we're regaining a spiritual focus. We're coming out of the South Node Libra, where feminists speak out into the air, a loud choir of materialism. Gimme, gimme, gimme. I deserve, I deserve, I deserve. Females today of this modern world, there's no one up here who could refute it or deny it. They're all singing together in the same chorus. He got to have 6 figures. He got to have this. He got to have that. I want this. I want that. Wealthy men falling down like leaves in the fall, losing everything that they ever earned, everything that they work for. Money, 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 money. The courts, family court, divorce court, it's all money, 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 money. Everything is money. The Chinese lady at the beauty hair supply store, she is making a killing off of the insecurities of black females in America. She is making a killing off of the fact that they hate how their nose looks. She's making a killing off of the fact that they don't like their eyebrows. She is swimming in money because they don't like their natural hair. They don't like nappy coarse hair. They don't like how it looks. They don't like their skin. They don't like their teeth. The dentist is making a killing with these big horse teeth, these fake teeth, these veneers. The surgeons are making a killing off these BBLs. Nobody likes their self. Even the being, the human, has become a materialistic item. Something to consume. Each other, we have become consumers of each other, treating each other like material objects. We've become sick with this. We now, through the wise waters of Aquarius and the power of transformation of Pluto, are regaining a spiritual focus. And this comes back to, you guessed it, the number 9 energy at South Node Virgo. That's the regain. That's the mechanical aspect of how we are to regain this spiritual focus. The number 9 numerological value of South Node Virgo. It's going to teach us for the next 18 months. We are going to learn how to regain that spiritual focus by letting go of aspects of Venus that had us in detriment. The 9 works against the detriment of Venus. I'm saying this so many times that all of you should be able to finish my sentence, okay? That's the life path 9, heart, soul, urge 9, which we all are subject to at the Virgo placement and 6th house. Understand, if you're living right, the 6th house works against the detriment of Venus. Understand, if you're living right. That number 9 does not go well with a toxic Venus. All right? And Venus being our unchecked desire or urges, lust for material things, for lustful experiences, indulgences, and things that entertain the senses, the sensory perceptions, foods, sex, dating life, clothes in certain materials and textures, the beautiful things that the earth has to offer, and money. People as a lustful experience, as a pleasurable experience, where it's surface, meaningless, and people become disposable things, exploiting our soul through how we deal with our desires. And number 9 stands between us and our desires. At number 9, it refocuses our source of urge to the heart and not Venus or the astral body. It brings the focus back to the heart center. Okay? For whence all spiritual communication begins. It brings it back to the heart. The spiritual focus. And how is that done? Subjecting you first to isolation until you realize solitude. And the isolation is when we are resisting being without these addictions. Solitude is when we embrace the liberation of not being distracted or spoiled or ruined by these desires and impulses. Understand, that's what takes place with that number 9. So you lose things. You lose certain relationships. You lose certain material, certain property. A certain type of frequency surrounds you to where you no longer have access to people or things that spoils the spirit. And your life becomes purified. Your life becomes sanitized. You become purified and sanitized. But if you're rejecting it and resisting it, you're going to feel like, oh, why is God picking on me? Why is this happening to me? We should have the wisdom to understand that it's happening for you, not to you. Embrace the opportunity that you're being invested in to realize a spiritual outlook, a spiritual focus, without the distractions of that which you use yourself to spoil and corrupt your own soul. Understand? Pleasures, as I'm reading, rewards, and disciplines of civilization rob us of our most precious ability to tune into the spiritual realms. Understand? Rewards and disciplines, okay? I got a PhD. I got this status. I got this job title. I work for this. I work for that. I got this much money. We become we fall into crisis to where we have false representations of value through what we compete with. The clothes we wear, the college degrees we have, and the job status or career status. I'm an entrepreneur. I got this and I got that. And we use these things to determine and weigh value in ourselves and others. And now we have lost our humanity. Our soul is in crisis. We're lost. And it robs us, as it says, to tune into the precious ability to tune into the spiritual realms. This is why we can't focus and pick up on spiritual energy. This is why we as a people collectively can't get connected on the same frequency. We're too distracted. But guess what? That's how they want us to be, distracted. Why? Because it makes us consumers. It makes us greater consumers. We spend more money. The sicker we are, the more of a spiritual crisis we are in, the more money we spend. The more money we spend, the more divorces we have. The less women walk around with no husband. And when women in a society don't have husbands, they spend, and borrow. They're spendthrifts. Borrowing and spending constantly, nonstop. And the children become materialistic just like her because there's no father around to balance it. Now you have a society of materialistic people. Look at how our children grow up to have thousands of sneakers. Closet full of sneakers. All type of expensive clothes and stuff they don't even want to wear 2 times. The arrogance. The arrogance. It is arrogance. I'll tell you, long ago, one of my teachers, when I was in my early 20s, Sheikh Muhammad Syed Adli, I was in the mosque because I was a custodian of the masjid at that time, and we just finished cleaning up after cooking, for Ramadan. And he had a lesson for me about dishes, which it's quite phenomenal. It wasn't the only time he told me that. It was also a time where I went to his house, and I noticed he only had a few bowls, in cups. And he ended up sharing a principle with me. He said, how many spoons do you need? And that was the first time, I really thought about it that way. And I didn't answer. I just, was looking down because I was kind of confused at where he was getting at. And he said, how many cups do you need? He said, it's me and my 2 wives. And my other wife, she lives in another house. And I have another wife who lives in another house, so on and so forth. And he's like, how many cups do you need? Okay. How many bowls do you need? How many spoons do you need? And he said, how many people do you see? He said, okay, that's how many you need. You don't need a lot of things that you think you need. He drove a regular little beat up van. If you look at him, you wouldn't think he was poor. He has a healthy self-esteem. He takes care of many people in his community, including his wives and his children. But the way that he chooses to live, the humility, it's something to really learn from. How many bedrooms do you really need? How many horses do you really need pulling your car? How many horses do you really need to pull your truck? I'm just asking. I'm not telling you to go turn anything in or don't get this house or don't get that car. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying, can we start questioning the things that we do? is what I'm saying. Can we start questioning it at least? That's a start, right? How many horses does it take to get you through traffic and get you to point A to point Z? Do you have to look a certain way when you're driving? Remember the days when people would buy rims? Who are you really buying rims for? You don't see the rims while you're driving. The people do, not you. So did you buy the rims for them or did you buy it for you? I mean, really, think about it. It doesn't help the car to perform. In fact, it hurts. It strains the transmission. It strains the bearings. It's hard on the brakes to make it stop. I mean, you running through brake pads. Come on. The things that we do. How much money should you spend on a pair of pants, shoes, a purse, a hair? I heard Kendra G say her hair costs $2,000. $2,000 to put a fucking wig on, and hair grows out of your scalp. Why would you pay $2,000 to get your hair done? Why would you pay $2,000 for a wig? Look at the things that we spend money on. Why do we do that to ourselves? Why do we burden ourselves? Okay, this is really a close-up examination too. You look at the black community, nobody is a greater consumer than us. We're the biggest consumers in the whole wide world. Okay, and when you draw a line down a black community, the black women are far greater consumers than black men. So the African American woman is the greatest consumer on the planet Earth. She's the greatest consumer on the planet Earth. Ask a Chinese beauty store lady. Yeah. Car lots, real estate agents, banks with all these loans and, consuming debt. Consuming debt. Understand? Yeah. And she will shame you and guilt trip you if you don't spend like her. If you don't spend in the way that she does. She guilt trip you, call you dusty, call you broke, and everything else if you don't appear to have the same consumer appetite as she does. And that's part of social engineering. They train her to behave like that because indirectly it trains the males. See, you all got to pay attention to this. Anyway, back to the point. Let's start questioning the things that we're doing. Let's question them. We're getting off kilter. Looking at what you really need and what you really don't need. How many rooms do you really need? Come on, really think about that. Why do you need a big, fancy, expensive house that will stress you the fuck out? You can't even sleep in that motherfucker because you got to be breaking your neck, extra shifts and, overtime and all this other stuff. Robbing Paul to pay Peter. You know what I mean? Start an OnlyFans account. Come on, whatever. You trying to get the money up because you want to compete. You want to look like something, a status that you really don't have. It's things like this that the number 9 energy it confronts it, it isolates it, it arrests it with Saturn. That's what that number 9 energy does. It arrests that Venus. It contains that Venus and it puts limitations and restrictions on how Venus can interact with you, and it forbids Venus to distract you, to spoil you, or corrupt you. Understand? That's what the number 9 does. It makes you sober, spiritually sober and focused. This is what's going to happen to all of us. So there's a different way to look at the market, okay? The economy. We're not being punished. We shouldn't panic and say, oh my God, what am I going to do? I'm going to lose this. I'm going to lose that. That's number 9 energy. Number 9 energy manifests to make you lose shit that you really don't fucking need. That's the whole fucking point. Ask me. I'm a life path 9. Anybody who has life path 9 or heart soul urge number 9, if you in the audience,
Raise your hand and testify, because I know your life looks like this. I know it. I ain't even got to walk with you because I know number 9 energy. All right? You don't belong where there's clout. You don't belong where there's Venus energy spoiling and ruining and corrupting, because God is protecting you from that through that number 9 frequency. I know what the fuck I know. Understand? Even relationships. The anointed do not last around you. Number 9s can only bond with the anointed because it is an anointing in and of itself. Number 9. Number 9s are anointed. So if you're not coming at the right frequency, you're going to lose that 9. And when you lose a 9, judgment comes after that. That's what I know too. Okay? If a number 9 pop up in your life, if you fuck up, judgment gonna fall right behind your ass right after that person. Believe me. Because number 9s are like prophets and messengers. They're anointed. Understand? Better get with the program. You know what I mean? Healing yourself of imbalances. Look at that word healing. Okay? The word healing is used. Healing yourself of imbalances. Healing is painful. All right? Let's accept it. Let's get over it. Okay? Because it's not for naught. Where there's pain, there's investment. Right? Where you're wounded, you're expected to heal. Come on. This is why we signed up to come to earth. Stop crying. We came to earth to do this. So let's do it. Let's do it. You didn't come here for the reasons that you may have thought. You came here to do what you're being facilitated to do, but you just won't stand. You're not choosing to stand. Stand the fuck up. Get up. Stand up. You know what I mean? Stand up and stand with those who stand. Stand with those who stand. We're losing our connection to spirit. We're losing our connection to Allah, to Olodumare, God, Jah, however you want to call the one light. We're losing our connection when we indulge and get caught up in these things, these low vibrational things. We getting caught up in. And we lose our power of discernment, our power of discretion, our wisdom, our insight, our intuition. We lose all these faculties when we get away from source. That's not what we're supposed to be impressed by. That's not supposed to be impressing us. But we're headed there. We're returning back. You know what I mean? The Pluto is in the air sign. All right? This is ethereal. It just got out of earth sign. So no, it ain't no stuck energy. This is accelerated ethereal energy. Like we moving. Zip, 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 zip. We are growing and we growing fast. So you might as well wake up and smell the coffee. Or get left behind. You know what I mean? You don't want to get left behind. Saturn is going to be out of the water. It's going to be out of Pisces soon. Okay? And Saturn's going to go into a fire sign, Aries. All right? That's going to give us the grit. Okay? To be a warrior behind all that Chiron, Aries, behind all that Aries, Chiron pain we just dealt with. We're going to be a gritty warrior behind all that pain as if it never even happened. Understand, we are going to initiate creation after creation from authentic frequency, not this commercial bull crap that we've been dealing with. Weaves and sandals. Understand, that era is over. Thank God. Feminism is falling. Liberalism is falling. And I'm happy it is, because it was hurting us. It was not good for us. Now, not going to prolong this. Hindi Yogi demonstrates his healing powers. Healing is a big thing because we're still learning so much about that Aries Chiron impulse concerning the identity, the self, all right, the I, that first house. And we got to work through that pain so that we do not commit mutiny, betrayal to the self. We have been betraying the self because we feared to face that pain, those pains. But now that we are facing those pains, afterwards it's investing in the courage, the staying power, the resilience that we're going to have with that same algorithm called Aries and first house. This is being the self against all odds. This is being the self no matter what. This is you can't hurt me no more. This is who I'm going to be. I'm going to be authentic and I'm going to be it to the death. That's what that is. And I'm going to heal as I go because I was wounded here. Because there's many who are left behind. And it's you who are going to catch them up, especially through what you demonstrate. Understand? You're the healer. And it's time for demonstration. A Hindi yogi demonstrates his healing powers. Demonstrate. You were wounded? Okay, demonstrate healing. If you can't demonstrate healing, you were negligent to your own pain because you're supposed to learn something on healing yourself. And if you learned something for yourself, you learned it for others. This is what we have to start understanding. Don't cry about the portion of pain and trauma that was measured for us, because guess who chose it? You did. You signed up. You asked for that assignment. You asked for that burden. You asked to come to earth so that you could pass through those experiences. That's the pain that makes you mortal. But the part that makes you immortal is a regenerative power of Pluto, in which you have the ability to transform through that same pain. Turning venom into antidote. Turning a tragedy into a victory. Understand? And that's what you're supposed to do. That's the God in you. That's the eternal. That's the infinite aspect of self that meets the mortal aspect of self. But we still crying over what is mortal? Excuse me? Did you forget who you are? Spiritual focus. Spiritual focus accelerates when you start losing things, when you start letting things go. Because it sustains clarity. It enables clarity. It promotes clarity, peace of mind, contentment, satisfaction. Contentment, peace of mind, satisfaction doesn't come with buying stuff, hoarding things, collecting things, swiping cards and ordering on Amazon. It doesn't come from shopping. It doesn't come from traveling. It comes from the contentment that you generate in the solitude of self. That's where that comes from. It's a fruit of that acceptance. But that's what we don't want to deal with. We don't want to be alone and embrace it and learn what is to be learned from it while we're in it. You could do this in a relationship. Yeah. It don't mean you got to break up with your boo-boo or whatever. Find some time alone to practice that isolation of embracing self, pouring into self, focusing and channeling into the spirit core. Yeah, get with it. Get with it. It's not anybody's responsibility to make me happy or content. It's not anybody's responsibility to make me secure. That's my job. And I show up with others to share the fruits of that. That's how that's supposed to go. Who are we handing out assignments to other people? Make me happy. No, that's your job. Understand? That's your job. Aquarius Pluto, 3rd or 4th degree. A Hindu yogi demonstrates his healing powers. Let's be demonstrators. Let's be demonstrators. Ironically, when they say, who hurt you? I don't know who hurt you, but it's a blessing that somebody hurt you.
Because if you were not hurt, you could not heal.